Okay. They've left little pieces of coal mining equipment. They described the 3 phases of coal mining: the pioneer mining, shaft mining, and then the mechanized mining in the area. Okay. I think they had 290 mines here by the early 1930s. And then you had the shaft mining, and then you had the mechanized mining with the big shovels. And as a consequence of the mechanized mining, Cherokee and Crawford counties have very deep pits from the mining days, and then eventually these pits were filled with water and are now used for recreational activities such as boating, fishing, and when I was a kid we were actually swimming in them. So let's go on. Okay. Okay, this is the history of Frontenac, Kansas, the Mine 2 disaster. And the coal mining, the town of Frontenac came into existence during the late 1800s and formed the Cherokee and Pittsburg Coal Mining Company. And I guess there was a mining camp, and then it became a booming city. And then you had a flock of immigrants come. And then here we have the Frontenac mining disaster. I guess in November 1988, you had the worst mining disaster in the state of Kansas. There was a terrible explosion that claimed the lives of 47 men and boys. Here, about 50. So here's a newspaper clipping from that time period. So it's interesting, but you hardly see anything from those days. Frontenac, downtown Frontenac, is a very sleepy little town. So let's see what we can find here. Okay. They talk about Cherokee County. Okay. Then they discuss the Stone City mine disaster of 1916. And then a terrible explosion took the lives of 20 men and boys working in the mine that day. Okay, and I guess what happened was a miner unknowingly drilled into a gas pocket. And then I guess the combination of his carbide lamp and the gas created the explosion. And here is Big Brutus. So you can still you can actually visit one of the excavators, Big Brutus, right, and it's only 30 minutes away from here near Weir, Kansas. Okay, here's a big shovel. Okay, used to excavate the coal. And then you have the Wilkinson coal mining. I guess it was in existence from 1917 to 1979. And I guess yeah, I guess the mining continued until the late 70s. And then it says here the EPA regulations required blending Southeast Kansas coal with Wyoming coal for a cleaner blend, and then it was no longer profitable to continue the operation. Of course, you had the problem of what to do with the mine land, and that pretty well fell to the federal government. And sometimes, you know, when I lived here in the late 70s, you had accidents where you had a hole would be created. I mean, they created a lot of these mining shafts in the late 1800s, and then these mines closed, and then nobody knew where they were. So you would have, you know, holes open up, and I mean, this was happening as late as the late 70s, early 80s. And then I guess this is about a famous president of District 14, Alexander Hoat. He was president of the United Mine Workers of America, and he was responsible for an organization of a powerful and militant union membership in the territory of the Cherokee Crawford coal fields. And I guess this is something he wrote: The Industrial Slave Law of Kansas, a history of the struggle to maintain the rights of free labor in Kansas. So let's see here. The Amazon Army. Okay, and this was the Women's March of 1921. In December 12th of that year, 3,000 women, wives, and other female relatives of striking miners marched from the Miners' Hall in Franklin, Kansas to the coal fields of Crawford County in an attempt to stop scab miners from reporting to work. This protest caused the governor to send a troop of Kansas cavalry to stop the marchers, and this made headlines across the nation. They were dubbed the Amazon Army by the New York Times. Okay, and then I'm going to walk across, and I'm going to show you a mural from that time period. Here, I'm crossing the street here. Okay, and here's a mural. And this was where the immigrant laborers departed. I guess maybe they spent their first night in Pittsburgh at the Europa Hotel. And it says, battling hard times and cultural barriers, these men and women were a part of the great melting pot that was the United States of America. Through their preservation, determination, and hard work, 1/3 of the nation's coal was mined in this area, which helped Kansas become an industrial force. So, here we go. This is Hotel Europe. I have no idea whether it was standing. I think it was standing when I was living here, and I don't know what they ever did with it. So here they are. They disembark. They have no idea how hard it's going to be when they start working in the coal mines. So I wonder what this is here. Okay, so okay. So here is our tour of Immigrant Park. Signing off.